Okay, good morning. We are going to publish a course on YouTube, all free, covering a bunch of the important topics around media buying, digital marketing, specifically around digital ads. So if you're interested in running Facebook ads, Google ads, anything digital media buying related or digital marketing related, even if maybe you're not interested in the digital ads side, but you're interested in digital marketing, maybe as a copywriter or designer or something, this should get you some good context on media buying and that side of things. So this is the intro to media buying. We're going to do a bunch more courses. We're going to go deeper into Google Ads first. So if you're interested in Google Ads, stick around for some of the future lessons on that front. But let's get started. So I guess I should introduce myself first. So my name is Peter Deli. I am the CEO of Levy Consulting. We manage digital ad budgets on behalf of our clients. I started my career as a PPC specialist buying Google search, and then have worked as a media buyer for the last 10 years. I've managed media buying teams. I've trained media buyers. I've hired media buyers. And so, including for agencies, including for in-house companies. So that's a little bit about my background. And I really want to just help people. I know there's a lot of people who are interested in a career in digital marketing, digital ads. You don't need a formal university education to get started. I'm a big believer that all the information is out there on YouTube. So I'm going to try to put some stuff out there too. So hopefully this helps. If you have questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to answer as much as I can. So let's get started. So for me, media buying really changed my life, right? I grew up in poverty, really couldn't even afford to go to university. That's when I started working in media buying. And so media buying is definitely a career where you can get started even freelancing on your own and work your way up to manage a media buying team and even start your own business like I have. Media buying also gave me the opportunity to live the life that I wanted to. I'm from the United States, from San Francisco, but I always dreamed of working and traveling around the world. This career path has allowed me to do that. You can see I've kind of been a little bit of a digital nomad, jumping all over the place, but really media buying opened all of this up for me, and I think that there's still a lot of opportunities out there. So what is media buying? In my opinion, it's a little bit of a blend of art and science, right? There is the creative aspect to it, there is the innovation, coming up with creative ideas. This, I think, is increasingly important in an era in which automation is such a big topic, right? We are not just button pushers. I mean, there are plenty of media buyers out there who are just button pushers, but in order to build a career, in order to succeed, it's really important that we're bringing innovative ideas, innovative solutions, pulling on past experiences to try something new. And then there's also the science of it, right? There is a technical math data component to this job that is also equally as important. I would expect that this is the side of media buying that maybe automation will encroach in a bit more. But really, to be a good media buyer, you have to be able to blend both of these aspects. The job also includes a little bit of everything. This is kind of something I talk about a lot of times when someone is considering this career path. There is the campaign management, which is what I think people think of when they think of media buying, right? You think of going into Google Ads and managing a campaign. Maybe there's different strategies and tactics and organization and everything within that ad account. And that is certainly part of it. That's a big part of it. But there's also the data evaluation. There's also copywriting. There's funnel CRO. How well is the funnel performing? Is this the right funnel for me to send traffic to? There is the creative strategy, the creative brainstorming, and then the equally important is the communication aspect. All the time we're talking with clients. Either you're going to work in-house for a company, and in which case you need to communicate with the rest of your team, or you're going to be working with clients, and you're going to need to be able to communicate effectively with clients. So that is a huge part of this job. You kind of have to be a data analyst, a campaign manager, and a salesperson, and an account manager all at the same time. So this is a little preview of what we're going to be doing in this course. We are going to be going through an overview of media buying today. There will be a couple of lessons on here that are more broad, general overview of media buying. We're going to start this course by looking at search engine marketing, Google, Bing. We'll look at YouTube ads, video ads, paid social, native, and we will look at DSP advertising towards the end of this course. So this is intended to be the intro. So if you're familiar with media buying, skip ahead a few lessons. This is not for you. But if this is your first exposure to media buying, I want to give you a little bit of an overview. So search engine marketing is this first type of media buying we're going to look at. This is essentially paid search. If you go to Google, if you go to Bing and you're typing in something, those ads that you see at the top of your page. Where do we buy those ad placements? We're buying those either from the networks. Google or Microsoft are the big ones. And these guys run search partner networks. So Google, you can go to google.com, you can buy google.com search placements, and you can buy from all of the partner search engines that Google is working with. Primarily, we target these ads through keywords. There are different types of keywords, some that are more exact, some that are more broad. There's a lot of strategy that goes into that, but that's how we're targeting it. Each one of these networks plays kind of this role of a broker. So advertisers are looking to advertise for some keyword, and then consumers are searching for some keyword, and usually those don't match exactly. And so Google or Bing has to make the decision of the customer searching for X, advertiser is advertising Y. That's the same thing or that's not the same thing. And then the network will serve the ads in those instances. So that is SEM. This is what we're going to look at first. YouTube ads are also primarily bought through the networks. Google owns YouTube, so that's the biggest one. There are smaller ones like Rumble that are not nearly as developed of an advertising channel yet, but YouTube is still king here, and this is purchased primarily, this is only bought through Google Ads. The targeting mechanisms here are a bit different. So on search, we're targeting based off of keywords. On YouTube, you cannot target by keywords. So here we're targeting based off people's interest, their shopping affinity, their search affinity, or their demographics. Generally, I think that the bigger the audience, the better. And so it pulls your costs down. There's a lot of benefits in that we'll talk about more. But generally, the bigger the audience we can get here, the better when we're targeting on YouTube. Display advertising would be, if you're going around searching across the internet, you'll see the little pop-up ads or the display ads on the side. These are bought from a lot of different places. So there are big networks like Google Ads. The Google Display Network is a big one. There are DSPs, which stands for Demand Side Platforms. Zemanta is a big one on that side. And really, you could buy these from a lot of different places. There are Criteo, AdRoll, Facebook even. There's a lot of different places where you can buy display ad placement. Generally, we target these in two ways. So there is contextual targeting and there's audience targeting. Contextual targeting would be the context on the page. If you're reading a finance article, that would be finance topics. You could target by maybe the keywords of the finance words on there, or you could target by the interest, the topic of finance. You could target based off of the content on that page. Or you could target the individual, and you could say this person maybe frequently reads business news. So you wouldn't be targeting them while they were reading business news, but maybe they go on and they read the weather, and you could be placing those ads there based off of that audience affinity that those guys have. Again, Google is really the big player on this side. Native ads are quite similar, but they're designed to look like articles. Think about if you go to Yahoo Finance, you'll see ads that just say sponsored. It's an article, but it still says sponsored there. That's what native ads are. This is where we start looking at kind of the clickbait stuff. The headlines really matter to get your clicks while you're reading those other publications. These can be bought through networks. These can be bought through DSPs, similar to the display side. But there's different players here. So Taboola and Outbrain are some of the bigger players on the native side. Google has a native product that is kind of native hybrid called Google Discovery. Yahoo is also a big player here in the native landscape. And then the targeting here is quite similar in terms of being able to target contextually or target demographically. But usually we target a bit more broadly here. We say my target demographic is men 25 to 55. And so then we'll just target men 25 to 55 and do a bit of the qualifying with the headlines that we put into that ad. Okay, so those are the major channels that we're going to talk about in this course. It will take us some time to get through all of them. Why are companies advertising? When we build a media plan, we need to align that media plan with the client's objectives. So there's a couple of reasons why a company might be advertising. The major one is direct to consumer. This is, I have a thing, I want to sell this thing to consumers. We work with fashion brands selling athletic clothing. That's a direct to consumer campaign. I also would consider some of these informational products here. I have an ebook that I want to sell to consumers, that type of stuff. There is business to business marketing. This would be companies that maybe have professional services that they want to sell to other companies. That would be business to business. At the end of the day, all marketing is person to person, right? So whether you are researching a purchase for your business or for your person, there's a lot of the same fundamentals at play there. And then we won't talk about this one as much, but there are legitimate branding plays that people will use social media or paid advertising for. And so a lot of times the marketing that we do is performance focused. We're driving campaigns for a specific KPI, something like a ROAS target or ROI target. And we don't do as much of this branding play, but you will see that there are certainly clients that are looking for that. So some key terms that will be important as we go through the rest of this course. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicators. This is the main campaign objective. In my opinion, you have to have one KPI, one North Star to manage a campaign against, whether that is ROAS, return on ad spend, customer acquisition cost, the CPA, the CPL. You have to have one North Star. You can have secondary objectives and you can manage towards some of those, but we need to have one North Star that we're working towards. Optimization is this process of improving performance for a campaign. And so this is where maybe you take more of those objectives into account, but it's a continual process and there's never a time where we're done. You're always trying to improve performance on the campaign. Conversions is any outcome from a campaign. So if you're running a lead generation campaign, the conversion could be leads. If you're running a sales campaign, it could be sales. If you're running a webinar registration campaign, it could be registration. Whatever that outcome is that you're looking for from the campaign. Then the conversion rate, we always say CVR. So the CVR is the percentage of times when that specific conversion occurs. So you can see if it's a sales event, you say, okay, from the amount of clicks that I'm getting, how many of those turned into a sale? So optimization is really the meat of the job, right? Like there's very, in terms of when we build new campaigns, it's a much smaller percentage of the time. So what we do is we try to optimize our campaigns. You can see here is an example campaign in terms of some of the numbers that we have coming in. what we do is we'll test alternatives and we'll test changes. So in this scenario, we're making 9 conversions. We want to test some alternatives to improve that number. So you can see what we did is we focused here on the click-through rate. We have the same amount of impressions, which is the number of people who are seeing your ad. We focused on the click-through rate. So maybe in this situation, we improved the copy that we were running. And so now instead of 9% of people, we have 11% of people clicking on that. In this situation, our clicks increased, our conversion rate stayed the same. We had more people clicking in and our conversion rate stayed the same, so we're converting more conversions. You can see we can also improve conversions taking a different path. So in the variant 3 scenario, click-through rate stayed the same. 9% of people are clicking through. We have the same percentage of clicks. And then our conversion rate improved quite a bit. Maybe we changed the landing page we were sending traffic to. Maybe we changed the price point we were selling the product to. There's a lot of levers we could pull to improve the conversion rate. And then you can see here, we also drove an increase in the number of conversions that we have coming through. You can see here that this is just volume of conversions, which usually we don't manage to. Usually our KPIs are efficiency focused. So you can see CPA, cost per acquisition, is something that's more efficiency focused. We can't even calculate that because I don't know how much we're spending. There's no cost data here at our disposal. So let's add cost in here. For this exercise, we're going to assume that we're paying the same amount, a CPC, cost per click, on every one of these clicks. So you can see now we can have an idea for how much we're spending, and you can have an idea for what our CPA is. An important thing to know here is what is the KPI? Because if the KPI is $10, CPA, then there's one campaign here that's achieving that. If the KPI is 15, then there's a lot of different routes that we can take going here. Regardless of what the target is, we do want to always have the best CPA possible. And so you'll see that this avenue down here on the bottom is the test that would have made the most improvement here on the CPA. Okay. Other things that we didn't talk about here is cost, right? I could maybe deploy a media buying strategy to cut my CPC down to $1. And so that would be another way that we could improve our cost, which would improve the CPA. There's really an endless amount of things that we can tinker on within an ad account, which is what a lot of these lessons are going to be focused on down the road. So here, as we wrap up today, I'm going to give you a little bit of my advice in terms of building a career in media buying. What I would really recommend is learn for free. There's so many people out there charging for a course to teach you media buying when all of that information is available on YouTube and on TikTok and on Google search, right? There is no shortage of information that is out there. You don't need to be buying one of these expensive courses to learn how to do this. My next piece of advice is maximize your strengths. I showed you those components that come into play within media buying, copywriting, data, campaign management. Be honest with yourself and identify what you're the best at. If you're strong on data and weak on creativity, be the best at data. You have to mitigate your weaknesses as well. So get a little bit more, spend some time practicing on the creative side and try to shore those areas up a bit, but really drive up the scoreboard in the area where you're the strongest and really try to be your best in that area. I would recommend getting some experience, some. It doesn't have to be the most to get your foot into things. This could be running some traffic for a friend's store. Right? You don't even have to really get paid for it. Get some learning experience, whether it's through an internship. Maybe you know someone who has a small local business that you could do some digital marketing for them. Whatever it is, get a little bit of exposure. And then look for your first media buying job. What you should look for in your first media buying job is one with a big team that you can learn from. My first media buying job, actually, my very first media buying job, I was the only digital marketer on the team. And I did not learn very much. My second media buying job, I was one of dozens of media buyers on the team. It was a large e commerce company doing about $1 billion in sales. And so there was a lot of marketers that I could learn from, a lot of marketers who were there specifically to train me and mentor me, and people I could ask questions to. And so I would really recommend that. If you want to make a career out of things, you need to learn as much as you can in the first years of your career, and working with more experienced marketers is the best way to do that. And then work your ass off. This is kind of a huge part of it. I think this is maybe a key for success in all areas of life, but especially in digital marketing. If you want to make something of it, you really need to put in the hours. It takes a long time before you have the competencies to be able to go and exploit your experience and profit off of it. So next lessons we're going to look at laws of media buying. We're going to look at specific media buying metrics, how to calculate them, and then we're going to start getting into Google Ads. So that's going to be what we move into quite soon. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I have my Instagram on here. I have my LinkedIn on here. I have my email on here. Shoot me an email, write me a message on LinkedIn, ask me your questions, and we'll try to answer them here on later lessons that come on. Okay, that is all we have for today. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Let me know if there's any questions.